Hi, my name is Austin, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can assign a custom label to your Google or Meta or any product feed catalog that you're using to run ads. I'll show you how you can assign your bestsellers rank to those custom labels so that you can segment your bestsellers and worst sellers into their own campaigns in whatever ad platform you're running ads on. So I'll jump right in here. I have prepared a sheet with all of my item IDs. And we're using a Shopify store, but this could work with other stores as well. But I have all my item IDs lined up. They've been assigned a top seller rank or bestseller rank. Here's their ranking, here's their item revenue, and here's the titles of them. This is for our demo shop, which is this store. It's just a fake store, so you can't actually buy that. But what I have here is an automatic system. So this updates every day. So if, for example, this item, this water-resistant shoe, if that one is the top 4 bestseller in the last 30 days now, it might not be the number 4 bestseller, let's say, during a different time of year when people aren't buying water-resistant shoes. So, for example, in the winter, the sales rank will drop throughout the year, and then it will go back up at other times of the year. And so what I wanted to do was automate this process completely so that based on the last 30 days of sales, items would be ranked according to their revenue in relation to the revenue of other items in the store. And then what I've done with this is I've taken these labels and added them to the custom labeled 0 value in my product data feed for Google Merchant Center, same for my Facebook product catalog. So that way when I go to set up campaigns, I can have a campaign that's, for example, these top 10 products only, that gets the most budget. And then when some products fall out of the top 10 sellers rank, this label will change, which will move that product into a separate campaign, maybe a campaign that's just for the top 25 sellers. And that'll all happen automatically daily because I've set up a couple systems here to automate every step of it for me. So I'll walk through that in this video so that you can do the same on your store. So I've listed out the steps here, and I'll share this sheet in the description of this video so you can just copy it. But what I've done is there's really 4 steps here. So step 1, I import the active item IDs from, in my case, Datafeed Watch. You can import them from any data feed management tool. But I only want this chart or this table to act on live items. I don't want to calculate the bestseller rank of items that are no longer available in the store. So that's why I'm importing just the active items from the feed. And step 2, I'm going to import each item's revenue. So the revenue that's associated with each item, I'm going to import that from GA4. If you can import that from your Shopify or BigCommerce or Magento platform, that might be more effective than GA4, but for now I'm going to use GA4. GA4 just misses some data, and so getting the data directly from your ecom platform would be even better than what I have here, but we'll use GA4 for now. Step 3, I'm going to assign the bestsellers rank, and that's what's happening in the background here with these formulas. And then the last step is I'm going to import the bestsellers rank into my custom label. So that could be into your custom label 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever one you use, whichever one you have available. So we'll start with step 1 here. I'm going to import the active items only into this sheet, and I'm doing that with a script that you can also just copy from my template here. So I have this sheet, and it's looking at my live feed, which is this URL, and I'm using Datafeed Watch, like I said, so I'll show you where to get that. If you're using a different feed tool, it'll be the same thing. You just have to have a URL that contains the feed. So you can see I have my URL here, and here's the entire feed. So I'm going to close that. I'm going to take that feed URL and paste it in here into this var XML URL. And then I'm just going to hit run. And what this will do is it'll take all those active items and it'll put them in the sheet titled title lookup key. So that's this sheet, title lookup key. And I actually have it importing both the title and the item ID. So let's see, I've got the item ID, and then I have the item title, and I did have the item form at some point, but I don't need that, so I'm actually just gonna get rid of that. Form, I'm gonna get rid of that too. Form. Okay, so I think form is cleared out of here. I'll run it one more time to make sure I don't get an error. Okay, cool. Form I had in there for a different store, but I don't need that now. So anyway, now I have just the latest item IDs in here, which means I don't have any item IDs from items that are no longer on the store, which is what I will get from GA4. I'll show you that in a moment, but now I have 110 items. That's all I have on this store, and then I have those getting pulled in here with this array formula. I won't explain the array formula, but you can ask questions in the comments if you have any. I'll try to answer them if I can. But if you have a problem, the first step would be to take this, paste it into ChatGPT, and then ask for help. It should work though on your store too. All right, so I have all those imported here. So that's step 1. Oh, sorry, I need to point out one more thing. I want this to run once a day. So I'm going to do add trigger time driven. So I want this to run once a day, and I want it to run after Datafeed Watch has run. So updates once a day at midnight, and so I want to give Datafeed Watch plenty of time to update and download the latest item IDs. I'm going to select 2 a.m. here, 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. That gives it plenty of time. Now I'm in my shop settings in Datafeed Watch. Let's see, update schedule, which is 6 p.m. Let's make it run right at midnight, right before midnight. So it'll run at 11 p.m. Pacific time. Add update. Okay, so that's going to happen at Pacific time. I'm actually in Eastern, so let's see if I can put in New York here. Yeah. Okay, so I'm in Eastern time. It's going to run at 11 p.m. Eastern time. I'll save that. Now I'm going to go back here. This will run at 2 a.m. Eastern time. So I'll have plenty of time between Datafeed Watch running and this running. So there won't be any missed data because it takes Datafeed Watch far less than 2 to 3 hours to run. So now this will run once a day every day between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. And so therefore between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. every day I'll have this set up and ready to go with the latest data. And that's step 1. So step 2, I'm going to import this sales revenue data from GA4 every day. And there's a couple different ways you can do that. I'm doing it here with Adveronix, so I'm showing you just as an example. My Adveronix account, you can use Supermetrics as well. I'm using Adveronix, and this is a data import tool. So it's grabbing the item ID and the item revenue. Let me type that in here. Item ID, item revenue. And that's getting placed here and here. That will come in here, just like that. So I'm going to go back though, and I'm going to look at reports, and then I have a schedule going here. So I need to make this import once a day, every day as well. I'm going to have this import daily at, let's just say 4 a.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to import this once a day. I'm going to have it import around 4 a.m. I'm going to import that report. And then if I want to, I can have a notification on errors, but I'm just going to leave that as for now. Okay, so now that's going to happen every day. So that's step 2. So now that's going to get imported once a day. And then step 3, I'm going to assign each of these item IDs a seller's rank based on its revenue. And that's all done here with formulas that I also won't explain because there's quite a few of them and they get a bit complicated. But in short, we're taking the revenue from our raw data from GA4, which is this sheet. that comes in here, it gets ranked with this formula, and then based on that rank, I add a label, which is just a manually entered piece of text. So top 10, top 25, top 50, if these criteria on the left are met. So once that's done, we have, as a final output, all of our IDs in the column on the left, and then all of the bestseller ranks in the column on the right. And like I was just showing before, these are arbitrary entries. I could just put something like even 1 through 10. I could make this be, let's say 11 through 25. So whatever you want here, you can put in to column B, but I'm going to go with top 10 and top 25. So then the last step is to import these into my custom label. So back in my data feed watch tool, and you can figure this out in any shop or data feed management software that you use, but in my shop, I'm using data feed watch, and what I'm doing is I have a process that runs steps 1, 2, and 3 between midnight and 3 a.m. every day, like I had just shown. Then the last step, this is like a fourth step, or this is like a step that's contingent on steps 1 through 3 happening. So if I don't run steps 1 through 3, then this sales data won't be updated. And if the sales data is not updated, then I'll be importing old data back into my feed for custom label 0. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make all these run from midnight to 3 a.m. And then I want to have a final run at 4 a.m. to get the latest data. So what I'm going to do to run again to get the latest data, so I'm going to have this run one more time at 4 a.m. And I'm going to save that. So now Data Feed Watch will run at 11 p.m. to download all of the latest data for step 1 here, all of the latest item IDs, so that if I remove or add new item IDs, we get that downloaded between midnight and, it'll happen around 11 p.m. These two things happen after 11 p.m. And then for the very last step, these custom labels will be updated once more when Data Feed Watch runs again at 4 a.m. And the reason that I have to have it run again at 4 a.m. is that I need it to I need my new data to come into this field that I've set up. Oh, I have not set it up yet. Let me set that up. So I'm going to call this custom label 0. And then I'm going to take this sheet, copy the whole URL, and I'm going to do use lookup table. And then I want to look up the item ID. And I want this item ID specifically. Add from URL. I'll paste in my URL. And then I'll hit preview. And then I'll show you how this worked. So here's my item IDs, and here's their top seller rankings. There's some top 100, 25. Here's one that didn't make the cut, so it's just others. And what's happened in Data Feed Watch is I've told it, make custom label 0. Let's get rid of this. Make custom label 0. That's a custom attribute that I've created. I'm going to use a lookup table, which a lookup table is simply telling Data Feed Watch, find whatever's in column A. So here's the item ID in column A, and whatever's adjacent to it in column B, assign that to the value that were created here. So we've created the attribute custom label 0, and the value assigned to that custom label 0 for this specific item ID will be top 10, or for this one, top 25, and so on. Data Feed Watch ignores everything from column C over, so you can have whatever you want in column C. In fact, a lot of times I'll make a note for myself in these additional columns that says something like last updated by Austin, Austin on February 11th. So I could put like the date here, 25. So you can keep track of what you're doing. All right. All right, so now what's happening here is Data Feed Watch will run once around 11 p.m., get all the new item IDs. Then all of this process will happen before 4 a.m. But by 4 a.m., once 4 a.m. rolls around, data feed watch will run one more time, and then with this rule, it will grab the latest data from here. So you have to have data feed watch run twice a day in this example. Okay, and then we're actually done, but I'm gonna add one more tip here. So sometimes if you don't have an item ID, let's say something doesn't go quite right and I have like an item ID missing here from my shop, I don't want to tell data feed watch to look at that item ID if it's not even in my spreadsheet, because it will return a value that I don't want. So what I'm going to do is just do isInList, add from URL with that same sheet. So I just took this same sheet and I told data feed watch only do this lookup rule above, only use the lookup table rule if the ID is in this list. And if it's not in this list, then this rule above won't apply and it will just default to this else rule, leave empty. And that's what I want, because if there's an item ID that's just missing for some reason from here, I don't want it to look up or to try to look that up in data feed watch. So I'm going to hit save changes. And now my feed's processing. And once it's done processing, I can re-import this feed. See, now it's done. I can re-import this back into Google Shopping or my Facebook product catalog or Pinterest, whatever feed-driven product sales channel you're using. All right. So that's how you can set up an automated system that imports all of your sales data and then ranks your item IDs against other items in your feed every day, and then use those to make custom labels and apply those custom labels to your ad campaigns. So I haven't shown you how to add custom labels to ad campaigns, but you'll be able to find out how to do that just by searching the web. So I didn't show that here. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, please like our video and then subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. And thank you for watching. Good luck advertising.